Good morning, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who has committed the crime. Of course, as you stand before me this morning, I presume that you're innocent of these charges. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the State Attorney's Office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We will set your conditions of pretrial release this morning, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Everybody raise your right hand. Morning, sunshine. Do all solemnly swear firm, tell truth, whole truth, none but the truth? Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Danica Engel. Morning, ma'am. What's your date of birth?
8/8/95.
And the charge this morning is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Our public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State what you tell me.
Yeah, I'm trying to failure to appear 2013, but I don't see the underlying charge on the paperwork I have here. I was 2016, a disorderly intox and a resist without violence.
All right. And young lady, I have an address for you on Jefferson Street here in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
A year and a half.
And does Mr. Rivera live there too?
Yes.
Do you have a job?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm a resident care assistant at a retirement home.
Okay. All right. I will set your bond at $500. The condition of the bond, however, is that you have no contact with Mr. Rivera. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact him through any social media. You don't have a third person contact him, you don't go where he lives, you don't go where he works, you don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting him, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held without bond until these charges are resolved. You need to understand that he cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision he's allowed to make. He may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. He may tell them he's not interested in pursuing this matter. But that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney who will be handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I've got to hold you today up until 4 p.m. So that if you wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as the Jefferson Street address is concerned, as long as he stays there, you'll have to stay somewhere else until we get this case resolved. You can go there one time to pick up your things, but to accomplish that, you must contact law enforcement first. They will meet you there with a deputy or an officer who will stand by while you get your things and get going wherever you're going. I'll have you back in court on the 11th of May. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard Carter. Morning, Mr. Carter. What's your date of birth?
7/29/71.
That's two issues this morning, sir. The first thing I have is a warrant that was signed by Judge Rupi. She found probable cause for 2 charges: defrauding a pawnbroker and dealing in stolen property. I have a new arrest for a petty theft. There's probable cause for all those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State he's got an open case. Do you have a defense date on it?
No. They did not give me the open state on this one.
Can't
It's in front of Judge Merritt.
18 CF 834.
834, yes.
Say again? There you go. Okay. And that's coming back 5:15. Okay. All right, Richard, in your case, here's what we're going to do. You obviously have an open felony case right now pending in front of Judge Merritt. Job number 1, when you've got pending criminal charges, is don't pick up new criminal charges. It appears to me that you have. Therefore, pursuant to Florida Statute 903.0471, I'm going to revoke your bond in 18 CF 834. That's your oldest case. So you're going to be held without bond until that one comes back to court, which is the 15th of May. The 2 new felony cases, the dealing and defrauding, I will leave the bonds per the warrant, which is $5,000 each case. But of course, you can't bond out because I just revoked your bond in your older case. So we'll send the new felonies back to court on the 15th of May, which is where your old case is going, older case. And then on the new retail theft, I'll leave that bond at $1,000. That one's coming back on the 11th of May. Public defender will come see you at the jail about all your cases before you go back to court, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Mark Vanstock. Want to, sir, what's your date of birth?
8/24/74.
All right, so you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Neal. He found probable cause for 1 count of petty theft. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
And it's shown at 2010 dealing in stolen property, and it's like out of state, say it's Michigan, from, let's see here, 2009, disorderly. Looks like there was a burglary arrest as well from out of state, but I can't tell disposition according to paperwork here.
Okay.
That was 2000, or that was late 90s.
Very good.
That's all I see here.
All right, so I have an address for you on Landmark Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
At least 10 years.
And you have a job these days?
Not at the very second now.
I'll set your bond at $500. I'll have you back in court on the 11th of May. Very important that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mallory Foucher. Wonder, Mallory, what's your date of birth?
January 12th, 1987.
Alright, Mallory, you got 2 charges today: retail theft and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
You have a burglary conveyance 2006, 2008 battery domestic, 2008 possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, 2008 driving on suspended license, 2009 DUI, 2009 DWLS, refusal 2009, burglary restructure 2010, 2014 DWLS HTO, 2015 DWLS felony. I think that's the last thing I'm showing.
Okay. And Mallory, I've got an address for you on Pocahontas Drive in Dade City. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
About 2 years.
Okay. You working these days?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll set your bonds at $500 on each count. Your total's $1,000. I'll have you back May 11th. Make sure you contact the PD when you get out, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You bet. David Ferrier? Want to sir, what's your date of birth?
9/1961.
And so you have two charges this morning. Got a battery being domestic in nature and a possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for both of those charges. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
A public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
No reportable history, Your Honor.
And David, I have an address for you on Sandhurst Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Correct.
How long have you lived there?
2 years.
And does Miss Maynard live there as well?
Yes, she does.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
Maintenance worker.
Okay, where do you do that?
Walmart.
Okay. On the battery, I'll set a bond of $500. On the drug paraphernalia at ROR, so your total bond is $500. Condition of the bond on the battery is that you have no contact with Miss Maynard. Did you hear me explain no contact a moment ago?
Yes, I did.
And did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
Very good. In addition, I have to hold you up until 4 p.m. so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we'd know where to find you. As far as the address on Sandhurst goes, as long as she stays there, you'll have to stay someplace else. You can go by one time to collect your things. In order to accomplish that, however, you must contact the sheriff's office first. I'll have you back in court on the 11th of May. When you get out, make sure you contact the public defender's office right away, okay?
All right, thank you.
Good, thank you. Joel Lewis? Morning again, Mr. Lewis. What's your date of birth?
7/20/1980.
Mr. Lewis, today we have felony driving on a suspended license and leaving the scene of an accident with property damage. There's probable cause for those two charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
You have the public defender in all your other cases, right?
Right.
Okay.
And obviously, I know the state would be able to RCO. I believe it lines up. That's the note I have here. I don't have the exact date though.
Yeah, because this one is from sometime in the past.
It was in the past. It was
February.
they had to switch some of the paperwork on it, but it was from a little before.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to do it today, but he's going to be in front of both Toner and Merritt. He's going to be in front of Toner later this month. If you guys want to.
All right. Yeah, I spoke to Mr. Justice as the case, so I spoke to him earlier about it. So
Okay.
I'll make sure he knows.
Okay. All right. Then what I'm going to do with these, Joel, is I'm going to leave the bonds per the schedule, which is $5,000 on the driving and $1,000 on the leaving. So this is another $6,000. I'll send these to the 23rd of April, which looks like where 2 of your 4 cases are. And if you get out, you should contact the public defender. Otherwise, they're going to come see you at the jail before you go to court. All right?
All right.
Very good. Yeah, he hadn't gotten out before this, so I don't think he's getting out. He's been in. We had him in first appearance Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
I may have done that too. Okay. Paul Peterson.
Yes, sir. $125.42.
Okay. Just stay a little bit farther away from the microphone, Paul.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
There you go.
There you go. Now say
You got it?
Yep.
125.42.
Perfect. The charges this morning are felony driving under the influence and refusing to submit to a test of your breath. There's probable cause for those 2 charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defenders?
Private counsel.
Very good. State, what can you tell me?
Yeah, all I show is the 3 prior DUIs,
Alright.
77, 80, 82, and 2009.
Right. All right. And, sir, let's see. I have an address for you on Long Lake Avenue. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
30 years.
You have a job these days?
Yeah, I'm retired now.
All right. I'm going to leave your bonds for the schedule, which is $5,000 on the felony, $500 on the misdemeanor. The total is $5,500. I'll have you back in court on May 15th. Make sure when you speak to your lawyer, you tell him about that date, okay?
No problem.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
William Boker.
Yes, sir.
Wanted, sir, what's your date of birth?
7/16/75.
Boker, I have 2 warrants for you today, both signed by Judge Toner. And one, apparently, you failed to appear in his court on possession of controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. On the other, it was failing to appear on possession of controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia. So, as for those charges, if you want to represent yourself, you can hire private counsel, which is like a public defender.
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the public defender. Unfortunately, Judge Toner has set the bonds on these at no bond. I can't change that, so we'll change the date. I'll have you back in his court on the 7th of May. The public defender will come see you before that. There's no bond on all 5 of you, so you'll be there until the 7th of May. PD will come see you. Thank you. And the rest of what I have are changes this week, right?
Yeah, I have, it was filed as a motion for bond for Ryan, I believe she's under Santos.
Okay, Santos Ortiz.
But I believe we're changing plea for time served. It was a technical violation. I had spoken to Lisa Yeager. Yeah, I have not met her yet. We spoke several times on the phone. She had completed about half her community service, had attended 1 driving class. I spoke to Mr. Story. He said that she had been late several times, but she had shown up, and they picked her up for not showing up. I believe it was in February. She had signed up for all the appropriate classes for probation.
Right.
She's going to have to do the driving class anyway to get a driving license, so the state had agreed on time served to be released today, and she's, of course, going to have to take
Okay.
it's all.
And what's the time?
The state, I believe she went in
Ryan, how long you been in jail?
on the 4th. I think.
2.5 weeks.
On the 4th, and then she did one on the previous, so yeah, 18 days.
Okay.
18 or 19 is what I think.
All right. So Ryan, you understand by entering an admission to a violation of probation, you give up the right to have a trial to the court and the right to confront the witnesses against you, but you want to give up those rights so we can resolve your case today?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer?
Yes.
Had enough time to talk to him? He answered any questions you might have?
Yes.
Very good. Case number 17, CP 1461. Do you admit that you violated your probation?
Yes.
I'll accept the admission, find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll revoke and terminate that probation unsuccessfully, adjudicate you guilty of the underlying charge. I will sentence you to 18 days in the county jail, credit 18 days served. There'll be a $50 cost of prosecution. And then your driver's license will be suspended, Ryan, for any of the DUI conditions that you didn't complete. So if you ever want to have a license again, you'll have to complete those conditions at some time in the future. I'll assess your cost of incarceration, but that takes care of it. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, you will be released today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good weekend.
And Dwayne Boynton.
Judge, it looks like Mr. Boynton has pled to a felony, 16 CF 1384.
Is he there?
Received.
You guys have Boynton there?
We have a Brian. We're going to have to go and get you the correct name. Sorry about
How
that.
about Joshua Robinson? You got him?
I think I see Joshua there. Is Joshua there?
Josh Robinson, are you there? There we go.
Not the clearest picture.
Okay. Is this a change of plan?
Yeah, Joshua had a 2017 violation of probation, and that's going to be reinstated. He still has approximately 5 months remaining to complete his conditions. but he has a new case of 2018. It's a battery. He has been in custody for about 15 days, but he's getting a new term of probation for that. And we've agreed to an adjudication of guilt, 12 months probation, the fine and the court costs. The same anger management course, the 12-hour anger management course as in the first one, so that'll count for both cases.
Okay.
Also, the substance abuse evaluation and treatment will count for both cases.
Okay.
50 hours of community service on the 2018 case,
Right.
and no violent contact with the victim. And Lisa agreed to early termination as long as he does at least half the time. Now,
Okay. And then on the VOP, it's just
Reinstatement,
same terms and conditions.
right. So he will have quite a bit of community service to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Joshua, we'll start with the VOP case. You understand in a violation of probation by entering an admission to a VOP, you give up the right to have a trial to the court, the right to confront the witnesses against you, but you're willing to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes.
Case number 17MM3405. Do you admit that you violated your probation?
Yes.
I'll accept the admission, find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty of the underlying charges if we didn't do that before, and then reinstate your probation with all of the prior terms and conditions. The only additional thing will be a $50 cost of prosecution and $100 for the public defender's office. And in the new case, by entering a plea to these charges, you're giving up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent. But you want to give up those rights so we can take care of the new case as well today?
Yes, sir.
So in 18MM894, as to the 2 counts of battery, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept those pleas, find them freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty on both counts. I will put you on probation for 12 months on each count, concurrent to each other and concurrent with the probation in your earlier case. While you're on probation, I'm ordering a 12-hour anger management course and a substance abuse evaluation with any further treatment as recommended. My understanding is those things were also ordered in your first case. You only have to complete them once for both cases, okay? There is in the new case 50 hours of community service. You may perform that or buy it off at $10 an hour. Finding court costs on count 1 is going to be $830, and there's going to be additional on count 2. If you know what that is, it's like $500. There'll be additional finding court costs on count 2 and $100 for the public defender's office. You're allowed to have peaceful contact with the alleged victim or victims. It's always a crime to touch those people or person any way they don't want to be touched. It could be a violation of your probation to so much as raise your voice, so keep that in mind while you're on probation. If you get to 6 months and all of those things have been completed, then you can terminate the probation early. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, Josh, that takes care of it. You're going to be released today. It's Friday, so I'll have you report to county probation no later than, what day is it? It's the 20th. No later than 4 p.m. on Tuesday, April 24th, 2018. So when you get out, make sure you get yourself down to county probation and get signed up, okay?
Okay.
Your Honor, he was curious to know if he'll be able to have the same probation officer for both cases.
I'm sure it will be, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be the same. Yeah, it won't be like double probation.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
All right, very good, Joshua.
Good luck, Joshua.
Thank you.
And then get Mr. Boynton yet, or are we still waiting?
He's on his way down right now.
I will wait patiently.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, we are.
It's a change, please. Just time.
Do we know what the time on Boynton is? Anyone? David, do you know the time on Boynton?
I believe he has 43 days.
Enjoy your weekend, everyone.
We'll see you later. Oh, he never bonded out. Maybe he did.
I just learned of the case this morning. I'm not sure what the history is, but it was Mr. Bauer's case.
I would have, let's see, it was 20 minutes, like something about 5 days.
Okay.
Oh. 11:43 is exactly. Yeah, it's a pile in the battery because there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of mandatory buckets. Yeah. I think that last one we did, I didn't assess it. I didn't sentence him to any in jail. So, yeah, so he's good. I don't normally do it if we're putting him back on probation. If he winds up violating, we get the credit for it. There won't be any issue. This way we save him $750.
Okay, Your Honor. He's right here for you.
Yeah, each count, each case. All right. And Mr. Dwayne Boynton, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Dwayne, raise your right hand for me. Solemnly swear affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Dwayne, before you got here, your lawyer told me that you were interested in taking time served and resolving this case this morning. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. You understand by entering a plea today, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent. Do you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 18MM895 is in charge of battery. How do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept that plea, find it's freely and voluntarily made. I will adjudicate you guilty of the charge, sentence you to 43 days in the county jail, credit 43 days served. Finding court cost is $830, $100 for the public defender's office and your cost of incarceration. That takes care of it, Dwayne. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, you'll be released today, all right?
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
All right.
Bye now. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.